rather than what we understand in ordinary usage. Meaning of sonship. Jesus and his followers obviously had a very different concept of what the title Son of God meant from the understanding that the Greeks and Romans had. In the names of Jesus Ibid, p. 54, Taylor gives us an idea of what those concepts were. The significance of the phrase in Jewish thought is reasonably clear. It does not describe a divine being, but characterizes groups of individuals who stand in a particularly close religious relationship with God. Strange to Jewish thought, with its strong emphasis on monotheism, the idea of divine men, or sons of God, was congenial to the Greek mind. It is therefore possible to argue that, while primitive Christianity confessed Jesus as the Son of God, the content of the idea was determined by Hellenistic usage. Here Taylor, himself a Christian, gives us some very important information. The influence of Greek and Roman thought may have flavored the original scriptural meaning of sonship to God. The Old Testament makes it clear that all of God's true adherents are sons of God. Those who love God, and whom he loves in return, are his children. For instance, we see another example from the book of Job where the angels are referred to as the sons of God. 98. Development of the Christian doctrine. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare, if thou hast understanding. Who hath laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest? Or who hath stretched the line upon it? Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened? Or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. Job 38, 4-7. King James Version. We have already seen that in Exodus the nation of Israel is called God's son. This idea is repeated in the book of Hosea where the children of Israel are called children of God. Note that the verse numbering in Hosea is unusual, and this is the second verse 1 of chapter 2 in the 1970 edition and chapter 3 in the 1991 edition of the New American Bible. In both cases, it comes after verse 5 and is not found in all versions of the Bible. The number of the Israelites shall be like the sand of the sea, which can be neither measured nor counted. Whereas they were called, Lo Ami, they shall be called, children of the living God. Hosea 3, 1. New American Bible, 1991 edition. In the New Testament, Jesus often indicated that the right ears are children of God. The Lord's Prayer shows this. So does the fact that Jesus referred to God as my Father and your Father. Jesus said to her, Do not hold on to me, because I have not yet ascended to the Father. But go to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God. John 20, 17. New Revised Standard Version. Jesus as the Son. 99. Those who followed Jesus are called sons of God in the King James Version and children of God in the New American Bible in the first chapter of John. But to those who did accept him he gave power to become children of God, to those who believe in his name, who were born not by natural generation nor by human choice nor by a man's decision but of God. John 1, 12-13. New American Bible. In fact, Jesus taught that there is only one Father for us all, God. And call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father, which is in heaven. Matthew 23, 9. King James Version. This indicates that we should devote ourselves wholeheartedly to God alone, with all our hearts, all our minds, all our souls and all our strength. No human relationship can stand in the way of that devotion. We learn from Jesus' teachings that God is called Father, because he is the Creator, the Sustainer and the Provider for all of us. And do not keep striving for what you are to eat and what you are to drink, and do not keep worrying. For it is the nations of the world that strive after all these things, and your Father knows that you need them. Instead, strive for his kingdom, and these things will be given to you as well. Luke 12, 29-31. New Revised Standard Version 100. Development of the Christian doctrine. Children, by choice, if you devote yourself to God, He will make all things work for your good, as only a divine Father can. We know that all things work for good for those who love God, who are called according to His purpose. For those He foreknew He also predestined to be conformed to the image of His Son, so that He might be the firstborn among many brothers. Romans 8:28-29. New American Bible. The Epistle to the Philippians shows that we are God's children as a result of our free choice. We choose to be children of God by doing His will. So then, my beloved, obedient as you have always been, not only when I am present but all the more now when I am absent, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. For God is the one who, for His good purpose, works in you both to desire and to work. Do everything without grumbling or questioning, that you may be blameless and innocent, children of God without blemish in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation, among whom you shine like lights in the world. Philippians 2:12-15. New American Bible. Here is a final example of the choice we have to be children of God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Matthew 5:9. New Revised Standard Version. Jesus as the Son. 101 verses indicating exclusive sonship in the Gospel of John. There are 4 verses that normally are translated to indicate that Jesus is the only Son of God. The most prominent verse, and the most frequently quoted, is John 3:16. For God so loved the world that He gave His only Son, so that everyone who believes in Him might not perish but might have eternal life. John 3:16. New American Bible. There are only 3 other verses that refer to Jesus as the only Son. They are John 1:14 and 18, and John 3:18. And the Word became flesh and lived among us, and we have seen His glory, the glory as of a Father's only Son, full of grace and truth. John 1:14. New Revised Standard Version. No man hath seen God at any time, the only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, He hath declared Him. John 1:18. King James Version. Those who believe in Him are not condemned, but those who do not believe are condemned already, because they have not believed in the name of the only Son of God.